And this is an interesting one because if you watch the coverage here on SpeedcastTV.com last year, some of the races are combined classes because the popularity of Sports Car Club of America, there's so many teams, drivers that want to get involved in it. They've added a few classes, but they wanted to make sure that all the classes that qualified in terms of numbers had a shot at a national championship, but trying to keep the race numbers down to something that could be covered over 3 days. Some of the smaller groups that have relatively similar lap times, they've combined into multiple race groups. In SCCA national and regional competition, that's often the norm. A little bit unusual here at the Runoffs, but it worked very well last year.
Yeah, it seemed to come off pretty well seamlessly. Usually the leaders won't find each other on the track. You know, you might get some of the back markers getting past, but didn't really interfere last year with any of the championships.
And it was some great racing, and we've got the two groups today. One is T3, which is a relatively new class, and it is a class for very, very high performance potential, and there's T1, T2, T3, Touring 1 through 3. And obviously, they're more stock-based, but very high performance. The newest edition, this is the first year it's running at the Runoffs, is called STO and STU, Super Touring O and U. And with the T3 cars today, we're going to see that STU class. It is the smaller of the new Super Touring classes. And basically, it's an opportunity for some of the pro classes, drivers that may be able to get one of those cars and run them. Here's a look at what Touring 3 is all about.
Oh, yeah, they're late model high-performance sedans. Really exciting cars. You kind of get the tuner following, which they've done some modifications to them, and they're pretty exciting to be watching on there. They must run DOT tires, and yeah.
Yeah, man, safety performance modifications, that's the other thing. These cars are quick, and so, you know, whatever is required for safety. You saw last year's champ, Bob Boileau, is not here, but his son is, and he's been picked by Sports Car. He's had a very, very good season so far in his division, which is Rocky Mountain Division, where he won the championship with 4 wins. It's a little bit further down the qualifying order than he'd like here, and we'll certainly be getting to those grids in a moment. As I said, then the STU class, what is the opportunity here? This is for World Challenge touring cars, MX-5 Cup cars, which are much quicker than a Spec Miata class car, although we do have some Spec Miata cars that will be running here, and the IT category cars, which is normally a regional-only class, but some of them are very quick and they wanted an opportunity to go for a national championship, so they've given these STU and STO cars and drivers an opportunity to give it a go, so we're going to see how that unfolds. The STU class and the STO, their first real run this year with everybody from around the nation coming together was, of course, the June Sprints right here at Road America. They had 19 entries in STU alone. So it's a class that everybody's going, wow, we can buy some of this really trick pro cars and be able to run them here in SCCA club competition, and it's proving very popular.
Oh, absolutely. There's a good pool of used cars available, and it's a great opportunity to get out there into some pretty good equipment at relatively not a lot of money.
Well,
obviously.
yeah, all things are relative in racing, to be sure. You can see we get some spots on one of the camera lenses there. There is the possibility of a little bit of moisture yet this morning. In theory, it's supposed to get better in terms of rain and sun as the weekend progresses, even as the day progresses here. But right now, if you can tell, very overcast at this point as the field is out on its parade lap. Get you through some of the grids right now to let you know who's doing what. As I said, the defending champ not here, but the 08 champion, Brett Spad, is, although he's back in the order as well. Let's go through the starting lineup and let you know who is going to be here. Sage Marie, who qualified second last year, but unfortunately ended up in the gravel trap early, is on the pole, the number 4 entry out of Huntington Beach, California. Winner in his division, the Southern Pacific Division, sponsored by Honda Performance Developments and B.F. Goodrich. Joining him in the front row will be the 07 of Chad Gilsinger out of Marysville, Ohio, and the Alpenstars Recaro Honda Sport S2000. Second row, number 87, Bill Steinhoff, will be on the inside. Finished second at the sprints earlier this season here at Road America in his Nissan 350Z. And the 34 of Kevin Fandauzi who is in a Cobalt SS. We'll talk a little bit more about some of those. Third at the sprints this year. Row 3, the number 2 of John Costello, runs out of the Northeastern Division in the Race Labs entry. Then also the number 74 of Jim Lighthizer out of Westminster, Colorado, in the Hoosier and Breck BMW Mini BMW Z4. In row 4, 7th will be number 44, Robert Hines, in his Goodyear Carbocheck Redline Nissan 350Z. He'll be joined on that 4th row by the 08 of Jeremy Lucas out of Delaware, Ohio, in a Honda Performance Development BF Goodrich-sponsored Honda S2000. Row 5, Frank Levinson on the Coletti Motorsports Honda, and Tommy Bolo, who we said was favored here by Sports Car Magazine, but had a little issue in qualifying. It could be interesting to watch him come up through the pack. Then number 65 is Chris Sarian out of Wheat Ridge, Colorado, in the Peak Eurosport Larry Miller VW GTI, and Brett Spotty, number 12, in the Phoenix Hoosier Redline entry, and he was second in 09, as well as being the champ in the gold medalist in 2008. And then 13th on the grid, number 37, will be Michael Sullivan. In the STU class, as we've got a good field here, 20 of them has shown up. The pole held by the guy who won the June sprints rather handily, the number 3 of Joel Weinberger in the Continental Audi Fall Line Audi A4. Just a great car. He'll be joined in the front row by the 81 of Richard Cullen in the Hoosier Smart Builders Corp Acura. Then we've got second row, Phil Parlato, number 16, the Phil's Auto Body BMW, the 41 of Michael Pettiford. This again the STU grid. That will be a split start. The Go For It Racing School's VW Jetta. Number 5 in the qualifying order in that third row on the inside, 01, Don Istuk, the Revo Technique Stop Tech Brakes VW, and the number 33 of Greg Amy in the Acura Integra. All right, here we go. Coming up to the front straight, we'll finish that STU grid in just a moment as we are ready to go. Pace car is in. There is the launch, and a problem, big problem for Joel Weinberger as that Audi just laid down when the green flag came out. And he is right now just being swarmed, and it's Richard Cullen followed by Phil Parlato, who jumps into the early lead, heading down into turn 1. And for Joel Weinberger, who has been the pace setter all year. Oh, and Parlato very, very loose. And also a big moment as well. Mike Pettiford got crossed up off to the outside of turn number 1. And so issues early. And now we get the green flag for the T3 category. T3 down into the first turn. Again, Sage Marie with Chad Gilsinger on pole. But obviously, Bart, the track conditions a little bit damp out there still, and it's catching a couple of these guys out.
Well, and the cold temperatures, too, are playing into it. It is a long lap, but it's hard to get some heat in these tires. They really have to be aggressive, and it's definitely going to be slick for the first few laps.
Absolutely, and we've been talking about the T3 is actually a nationally recognized class. Like we said, the STU category is the class that is being given an exhibition of sorts here this weekend, although they've got the big numbers and the like. But the issue here is the STU cars are actually a bit faster than the T3, so that's why, as we said, it's a split start. They start those guys first. They're very close. So as you said, you could get some of the slower cars in STU being swarmed by the T3 cars, but the leaders generally are not going to find each other, so those class battles are going to be easy to follow.
Yeah, it's really nice, too, because the spacing of the cars really helps out. Once you actually start getting to some of the back part of the other class, they're already spaced out. Hopefully they're not in their own race, because you really don't want to be interfering with their race. But generally you can work your way through and get past them, and you definitely shouldn't run into the other leaders.
It does make things exciting, though, when you're in your own battle for one of the class leads and you come up on some of the guys that are a little bit behind the pace in the other class, and you got to work through them, try not to lose that guy that you're racing.
And that's where years of experience is going to play in. A lot of the champions have got a lot of track time. They're going to use some of the back markers. If you can get past someone right in the right spot, maybe you can pin your competitor behind him for a corner or two and get a gap. So you got to use every opportunity that's out there.
And you mentioned the tires, the cool conditions. One of the things these classes run on, it's, as we said in the description we saw of the graphic, a DOT tire. They used to shave them. Now they're actually just molded, but they have tread. It's not a full-out racing slick. Is that a benefit on a track that's cold like this at all and damp in spots?
I definitely think it's a benefit. You know, you're going to be able to get some more heat into them, but they're really going to have to scuff, as you saw in the opening lap, in the pace lap. They were really trying to get some heat into them. The track got very cool last night, and the other thing is we did have some rain. So, as we'll see here in a little bit, between the kink at 12 always stays damp, even though the front straightaway is drying up.
And we were talking about the weather. What is supposed to happen here is once this cloud cover, this front that we're underneath, as Cullen comes by, and he has opened up a significant lead. Weinberger, whatever the problem was in the early going, he found it because he is now back into second. And, I mean, he was outside of the top 10 in that STU group by the time they got down into turn one handily, and he's now back in second with Parlato able to save it there in third. And Mike Pettiford, though, with that big moment when he ran off. Fortunately, and you're running here this weekend, you're going to be racing in Sports 2000, and I overheard you thanking some people from the track for paving the exit, the runoff curbing past the gravel trap over in turn one. That really helps.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Road America's done a great job of upping their game and increasing the safety and quality of the facility. Instead of just having pea gravel, we did have an opportunity where a competitor dropped some oil and ended up going wide and won, and instead of getting stuck in the pea gravel, we were able to drive off the asphalted area and bring it back on track. Yep, unfortunately, we do see that we lost our feed, and we're working on that. But so excellent race going on out there.
Absolutely, absolutely, and just having some minor technical issues here in the booth, so we're kind of dropping in and out of the feed. We'll try and get that locked up for you. But give you an idea right now, as I said, Weinberger with that problem, I really thought that his race might be over because I mean, if he missed a shift or whatever, don't do that very often, and he just stopped. But he's second. Parlato back into third. Don Istuk is fourth. Toby Grahovic, a great run early up into fifth. Then Greg Amy, then Mike Pettiford doing a nice job with the recovery. Then it is down to Fensky, Reynolds, and Quila. And then your T3 leader right now is Kevin Fandazzi. And he had a great start. He had actually qualified in the fourth spot, was second in the Central Division in terms of points with the win, but he had a lot of podiums. But he's always been very quick, and he sits right now already up into that STU field handily, 11th overall in this one, leading in the T3. Steinhoff currently sits second in T3. Third in T3 is Chad Gilsinger. Those two had qualified third and second, respectively. And Sage Marie is fourth in the T3 category right now, but a number of the STU cars splitting him at this point. And that's where this is going to be interesting. You've got to work your way through all that traffic to challenge that guy in class in front of you. This multi-class racing is interesting stuff.
Yeah, and like you pointed out, during the season, they have raced in other classes. So it is something we're experienced with. Some of the classes at the national championships get their own races, which obviously is ideal. But, they've been around each other, working with each other. So a lot of these guys, it's nothing new to them.
Right, and obviously, yeah, as you said, if you run regionals, nationals, and SCCA, you run multi-class. We've got a good battle right now for third in the STU division. Bill Parlato and Don Istuk came by side, and Istuk just a nose in front. So a good lap for Don Istuk in that VW, pushing Parlato in the BMW back into the fourth spot. And Toby Grahovic continues to set a very stout pace right now. Grahovic had qualified in the 11th spot, third in his division this year, and was just back in the order a little bit. He's out of the Southwest division now, but Chicago, Illinois is home. He'll always be a send-div guy for those of us who have been around for a while. But Toby, a great start from 11th up into that top five right now in the STU category.
And that's actually kind of exciting because the different brands of the cars, some cars are going to have a lot of cornering, some cars are going to have a lot more straightaways. So you really get to see great battles back and forth. They could be changing the lead 3-4 times.
Well, and one of the things, too, Bart, about Road America that a lot of people, when you think about it, you think it's 4 miles long. Everybody talks about this long uphill Road America straight that goes on forever, and the Moraine Sweep from 3 to 5, that's just that blast through the woods and that very fast run through the kink and the like. But the fact of the matter is you also have to get through corners here to be able to put together solid laps, fast laps, and some of these corners here, boy, they're gut check corners, and you've got to be able to get through them.
Oh, it's a great combination. High-speed corners, slow technical corners, compromised corners. This track really has it all. The carousel is extremely exciting. Some of these cars are pulling up over 2 Gs on exit.
It was kind of interesting to me. We were watching, last year it was in the American Le Mans Series race, and the BMWs in that series were down on straight line speed, and everybody was kind of writing them off. And Joey Hand and Bill Alverlin were going, yeah, we get through corners really well and we stop really well, and you need to do that strongly here. They ended up 1-2 in the race. So if obviously it's always a compromise at Road America in terms of the setup on a car, especially when we get to the classes that have wings and the like on it, about how much downforce you want versus how much drag it creates on this long track.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I think the thing we'll see right now is that it's just great racing. If you get into tight, twisty bits, basically I divide the track into half. Between 5 and Billy Mitchell Bend is more of the technical part, and if you've got a well-handling car, you can really pull out and pull a gap. But then you get on both of these long straightaways, and a lot of that can be eaten up by horsepower. So that's, I think, a lot of the battles we're seeing here.
And it does make it intriguing, to be sure. And obviously, one thing where the horsepower end of things always pays big dividends is in traffic.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Just being able to get past someone, pull out. You don't want to get stuck there. You want to clear them as quick as possible, especially if you're racing in a different class.
Speaking of different classes, right now, Kevin Fendazzi is putting together a spectacular run right now in his Hoosier Carbotech Chevy Cobalt SS. As I said, he had qualified 4th in the T3 class. The entire field started behind 20 STU cars, and right now Fendazzi is up to 6th overall, leading in the T3 category and throwing down some amazing laps at this point. I mean, only Cullen and Weinberger, the two leaders in STU right now, are running faster laps, running in the 238s and 237 range for those two drivers. And but Fendazzi is running at 241. Some pretty amazing stuff right now. Some absolutely spectacular racing.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like that start. Weinberger after that started moving, and really, I think that first opening lap, he had a heck of a shot of adrenaline and was really making some moves and getting past some people.
Well, he just picked up the lead. Weinberger in front now has gone around Cullen and has picked that point up. So that Audi has been spectacularly quick every time it's taken to the track. I mean, it just sort of checked out at the June sprints. So whatever happened at the start has resolved itself. And apparently all that did was steal Weinberger's determination, because he has been absolutely flying right now and has picked up the lead, taking it away from Cullen. And so a great comeback drive. As I said, I don't know that he was in the top 10 by the time they got down into turn 1. And they are in and working some serious traffic right now. The 01 of Istuk and the 16 of Parlato are right in the mix at this point with some of that lap traffic and working back that section of the track. Ooh, and a bit of a moment here for the 65. Chris Sarian out of Wheat Ridge, Colorado, has gotten it just a bit wrong down. Looked like he just lost it maybe coming into 8.
Yeah, a lot of the times 8's a threshold braking corner and might have just got it a little too locked up or too much rear bias. Probably just had a rotation. Looks like he kept it off the wall and can continue his fight.
Had a shot there, the 44 of Rob Hines, as he's working his way through that kink, that special section of track that is, I'll tell you what, it's a gut check section of track, boy. When you come out of that, the carousel itself, if you're in something quick, gets your attention. But, man, that kink approaches in a hurry and you don't see the exit of it. That's quite a corner.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. I don't know that they could build a modern-day track with that kind of corner because of insurance reasons, but it really defines Road America. I mean, I was down there doing Skip Barber coaching and actually watched the kink from the outside of the car, and I was afraid I wouldn't be able to go through there again.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. The commitment through there and the fast stuff is absolutely spectacular. Well, again, watching Istuk and that 01 VW, he's got Parlato all over the back of him at this point. And
they're doing a great job, too, using all the track, using the rumbles. Boy, they just have a great battle going on.
And then you've got the 84 Grahovic, and right behind him is Fendazzi, who we were talking about, who has put together this amazing drive coming up through the pack. And he really has joined that battle. Again, Grahovic, as I talked about, also having a very strong run after qualifying back in the 11th in the STU category in that classic BMW 325i. They are really putting the heat on right now, watching them now make that climb up into turn 6. That's another thing here. You've got a fair number of corners that have that blind approach to it that you can't see, so there's a lot of commitment to it. And I don't know that there's a trickier corner technically than turn 6 when you come up over that rise, the car gets light right when you need to be making your decisions on braking and everything. It's a challenge.
It definitely takes some laps, and the challenging thing with Road America being a 4-mile track is you don't get as many laps as you do on a Blackhawk or on some of the shorter tracks. So it takes even more time to get that corner down, and it's pretty exciting. If you look at the camera picture when they come up into 6, all you see is trees, so you really can't even tell where the track goes other than track experience and knowledge.
Had a shot there of the number 72 of Greg Ginsburg out of Arlington, Virginia. 4th in the Northeastern Division with a couple of wins, but not a lot of experience here, and didn't have a great qualifying session, so was down the order just a little bit. But that's one of the interesting things. You've got these great classes, drivers from 9 different divisions, as I talked about, that come here. You have to do well in your division to earn the invite. The only exception there is if you're a defending champion, if you're the defending gold medalist, you've got an automatic invite regardless. And but otherwise, as they say, you've got to get here the old-fashioned way. You've got to earn it.
Oh, absolutely. And this is a combination of a season that started. A lot of people did races in Florida in January already, so they've been working all season long to get to this point.
Well, you can actually run races out of your division. There's a certain number you can count toward your points total, and that's what determines your divisional status in terms of points, and that's how you get the invite. And up and underneath the famous Sargento Bridge here, out of turn 3, and that big rundown, what they call the Moraine Sweep, you see that battle between Weinberger and Cullen. And though Weinberger got by him, Cullen has not let him go. It's not like Weinberger has just been able to check out.
No, absolutely not. He's definitely in striking distance, and we'll see. He might be conserving tires. He's definitely driving the car, using all the track there. Going up into this turn 6, you could see the sight picture is just amazing.
Cullen, by the way, the last lap, running 0.3 of a second faster than the leader Weinberger. There is Don Istuk as he comes sweeping out. As you can see, he has had both that cobalt of our T3 leader, Kevin Fandazzi, has gone by him. And he has also lost a spot again, too, I believe, Parlato, in that BMW. And that's one thing we really haven't talked about. You've got the 2 overall leaders right now. Second place, Cullen, in that front drive Acura. But the guy up front, Weinberger, that's an all-wheel drive Audi. And obviously in these cool conditions with dam spots, that's got to be a big help.
Oh, absolutely. If I had a choice, I'd probably be going with the all-wheel drive right now, just for comfort and safety-wise. But the SCCA has done a great job of equalizing these cars. If you look at all the different combinations of engines, transmissions, drive lines, they've really, really done a commendable job of, you can see, very tight racing.
Yeah, the job of the SCCA rules makers and the tech officials is not a job that I envy, because that is difficult stuff to take all of these different configurations, as you pointed out, and again, generate racing like we are watching right now. And Fandazzi, T3 leader, the number 34 Carbotech Cobalt, all over Istuk as they head down into the carousel. Watching this great run again up and underneath the Sargento Bridge. There now is Fandazzi with Parlato right behind him. And they have gone around Istuk now, so they've got him. Istuk maybe just a little bobble somewhere. So they are back around and have picked that spot up. There is Toby Grahovic just going out of your frame as they make that run down through, well, what they really call it here, Kettle Bottoms, but it's from the kink down into Canada Corner. For many cars, that's the fastest part of the track, ultimately, is the approach into Canada Corner, which is one of the tighter corners.
Absolutely. If you look at the track itself, the turn 1 or front straightaway is actually the longest. But you got to take into account that the carousel, you should be flat or almost flat. So really, from turn 8 all the way down to turn 12, you're flat out on the gas. So if you straighten that out, even though it's not, you do get the longest straight, and that's where your highest speed will be achieved.
And it is spectacular stuff back there as well. Parlato now taking another look, swinging out, trying to get back around Fandazzi. It's that close. You can see Parlato, that white BMW showing the nose, and then Fandazzi just a little bit deeper into turn 1, and Parlato wisely kicking back. Again, now we're starting to see some raindrops on our camera lenses, so this is going to make things all the more interesting. And they actually made some class adjustments in the T3 category, and certainly for Fandazzi, that is helping him today. They took about 50 pounds off of the Cobalts, and they've allowed him to run a slightly larger tire. So you got a little lighter weight, you've got a little bit more grip, and that certainly never hurts. But if we do get a little bit more of this moisture coming up, that's going to certainly change things and going to really tilt the balance, as you pointed out, Bart, even more toward the front drive and certainly all-wheel drive camp.
Oh, absolutely. And, boy, I'm glad I'm not out there racing right now. They got some tough conditions to be dealing with, and this is for all the marbles. All boils down to one race. So, I mean, they are definitely going for it.
Yeah, you've raced an awful lot of races. I mean, there's 70 nationals over the course of a season, obviously in those 9 divisions, and you put together your program and make it happen. And there's a good look at 87, Bill Steinhoff, second here at the June Sprints with some good track knowledge. And, boy, I think that was Mike Pettiford, who, again, running a little bit wide out there. And Pettiford, that is a front-drive VW. So if these conditions continue to worsen up, he could definitely be somebody to keep a strong eye on.
Well, it's amazing with the wind. You can see the rain it's not even falling down. It's coming sideways. So the track is just getting pelted with rain, but it's not a heavy rain either. It's just a fine mist or moisture. So it's in typical Wisconsin weather. We have blue skies above turn 6. So.
Well, and sometimes just that little misty rain is almost worse, because if it's a solid rain, you know what you've got. But that misty stuff, it just gets on the surface and it mixes with the oil and rubber on the track, and it almost blazes in a sense.
Oh, absolutely. And something that's really extra special about Road America is you can be dry down the front straightaway and have it be raining in the back, and the crew's yelling at you going, well, how come you're going slower? It's a monsoon back here.
Yeah, you come out and drive it.
Exactly.
Well, it is a 4-mile track, and that's some of what you get. We had a moment there, number 7, Brett Fenske, just a little bit ago. You saw him starting to get really squirrely. We've got all of the windshield wipers seem to be on at this point, so things are pretty messy out there. And Sage Marie is making a charge back through the pack. Remember, he had the issue a little bit earlier in the race and dropped off. He is coming back at it. We're getting a report. We've got a car off at turn 9, which is the usually that would be the outside of the first chunk of the carousel over there, and there is a gravel around that outside edge. We'll see what happens there. But as I was talking about, Sage Marie really starting to put a charge on. Weinberger and Cullen continue to run 1-2, and that is in the STU category as well. Then it's Kevin Fandozzi and Chad Gilsinger running 1-2 in the T3 category, 3rd and 4th overall. Then Phil Parlato would be the bronze medalist in the STU category right now with his 5th run, running 5th. And Sage Marie, a great comeback drive in the number 4 S2000, is 6th overall, and that would put him right now on the podium in the T3 category and one of the medals. We're going to step away for just a minute, but of course we've got a lot more racing yet to go in our combined T3 STU run to the national championships and the medals here at Road America. Stay with us.
The 2010 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Subway, is brought to you by Mazda, Black Magic Car Care Products, and Gumout.
Forget the rock. Let's roll. Follow your inner driver to the all-new 2011 Mazda 2. It's Zoom Zoom. Concentrated.
Kid, where you been?
Just got back from an SCCA event.
Really?
Yeah, SCCA has more than 2,000 events every year.
Serious?
Go to SCCA.com and find people in your area that drive fast and get their hands dirty. And you don't have to be a supercar to compete.
So I go to SCCA.com, sign up, and I can start competing?
It's that easy.
Thanks for joining us here on the web at SpeedcastTV.com. Coverage of the 47th running of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs, presented by Subway. Greg Creamer, along with Bart Wolf and John Bizignano, part of the team for the weekend as well. As a matter of fact, he'll be covering the pits for all the races. He's the hard-working one. We can sit in here in the booth and call, and we only have to worry about half of the races at this point. But it's an interesting one, and it just got a lot more interesting. There is Brett Spotty in the Phoenix Hoosier Chevy Cobalt, and he has had a significant off. You can see the front half of that car deep into the tires at this point and way off track. Couldn't really tell from that camera angle, Bart, necessarily what corner that was.
It looked like it may be entrance to the carousel. It was tough to tell, but and that would be kind of a unique place to be going off. So he might have had some help getting there. I'm not sure.
Well, we had talked about just before the break, we were getting reports of a car off over at turn 9, and that very likely could have been the place. At this point, We've had a bit of a change, folks, in the T3 category. 3rd, 4th, and 5th overall. Chad Gilsinger now has gone to the lead. His Alpenstars Recaro Honda S2000 has picked up the lead in the T3 category. 3rd overall. Sage Marie up into 4th overall at this point. The pole sitter in the T3 class, and that comeback drive after having some issues at the start is B.F. Goodrich entry, and Fandozzi, who had been so fast early, has faded just a little bit.
Yeah, there's a couple different battles going on. I mean, you need to conserve your tires. It is a long race, even though they do call it a sprint race. But, you know, over the course of the race, you can use up your tires in a hurry, and it might be he's conserving it a little bit, or, you know, they're starting to grease up on him and needs to take a couple cool-down laps to get him back under him.
And here is that group we're looking at here, and there is Fandozzi, who has gone back around the black number 4 of Sage Marie, so he has picked up what would be the 2nd place in the T3 category. And Bart, you talked about typical Wisconsin weather. When we went to break, we were talking about potential rain and that clouds were threatening, and now we've got sun on most of the track that we could see.
Yeah,
welcome to Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely got to be a challenge. And it looked like there were a couple raindrops on that camera, so
yep.
I think they might be dealing with both conditions yet.
Well, you pointed out that it wasn't so much raining down as it was raining sideways when it was raining. So the upside with all of the wind, and believe me, folks, we are in for wind certainly today, is it does tend to dry tracks in a faster fashion. So we'll be able to maybe get this track dried out a little bit quicker than we would if it was a nice calm day. So that's what we're dealing with right now. But anything but calm on the track. The racing is absolutely fast and furious up through Billy Mitchell Bend, they call it now, after they had removed the bridge that used to go across that, the access bridge to the track. Now they got that great tunnel here. That certainly makes things a little bit easier. But that corner, the thing that I like about it is they left that big berm on the inside, so it's still that blind approach and the commitment through it. And that's what makes this track so challenging.
Oh, and it's uphill, too. You really can't see the exits, so the elevation change plays into it, too. You feel like you're going to run out of track, and all of a sudden there's extra room there.
And whistling down into turn 1. Here comes that great battle again. There is the number 4 of Fandozzi, and he has not only gone around Sage Marie, but he's been able to open up just a bit of a margin over him. Then Phil Parlato right behind him. That is 4th, 5th, and 6th overall. 4th and 5th are the 2 T3 cars of Fandozzi and Sage Marie. 6th is the number 16 BMW of Phil Parlato, which is one of the STU category cars. And it was interesting, just a couple of weekends ago, Phil was at Virginia International Raceway and running in the World Challenge. Second to the last race, the penultimate round, as they like to say, in that very car. And that's what's really cool about this, is it gives those cars an opportunity to go after a national championship in the Sports Car Club of America.
Oh, absolutely. And racers being racers, they want to go every weekend they can. And it's fun to experience different tracks with different series, and it gives you, like you said, an opportunity for a national championship, which is not an easy thing to do and get.
Not even. It's very, very tough, and that's what this is all about. And the fact that it all comes down to one race, there aren't playoffs or anything like that. It's you get the invite, you come, and if you don't finish on the podium, you leave without a medal. It's that simple. You still run the runoffs, and there's an awful lot of people when you consider the number. I mean, there's 50,000 members of the Sports Car Club of America. Certainly not all of them are drivers, but there's a large number of drivers, and you get to this point, and only a small percentage of that get to say, I got invited to the runoffs, let alone finished it, and let alone win it.
Oh yeah, it's each level it's more and more difficult. And it's not like a championship where you can have a bad race. If you have a bad race here, you're done. You're not national champion. So it's for all the marbles.
Well, speaking of all the marbles, this is for all the marbles. This is the battle for the overall lead and the STU lead in this combined class. Cullen continues now to hold it. He got back around Weinberger, and Weinberger is all over the back of Cullen as they head down through this section of track. That's Richard Cullen in that beautiful Acura, one of the old real-time cars. You can tell the color scheme on it. It is that close. That is the battle for the overall lead at this point. And the reason that we're cutting away from it just a little bit, folks, is we are missing a camera in a spot, and that is being worked on. There you can see them as they go up through turn 6. And now the exit of 6, turn 7, Bart. This is a challenging corner.
Oh, absolutely. It's most cars, it's maybe a breathe on it or otherwise flat through it, and you're really, really hauling through there.
And it's a fall-away turn as well, so a high-speed corner, as you pointed out, but that makes it a bit off camber, which makes it a bit interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, just when you really like some grip, it decides to leave you. It's kind of like my ex-girlfriend, but different story.
Indeed. Well, Weinberger looked like he had the run at Cullen right there, but you saw him just about mid-corner in the carousel. That car stepped out a little bit. That Audi gave that little bit of a wiggle right there. Had to breathe it for just a second, and that gave Cullen just a little bit of room. And Weinberger using up all of the exit curb through the kink, absolutely flat out through there. And the one thing you notice when you run through the kink, there's not a lot of runoff on the outside.
Oh, it's amazing how quick those walls will come out, especially when you really can't make too long of a clear dropping through it. It's eventually going to bite you. But he's definitely using every inch of the track and every ounce of grip in those tires.
Little problem there, the number 13 running fairly slowly. Just a little bit of an issue. Not exactly sure what might have been the problem there, but definitely off the pace. Meanwhile, we get back to this battle. Weinberger real loose as he came up to the exit of turn number 14, and again missed the apex by a good 5-6 feet. That just tells you how hard these guys are pushing.
Oh, and it looks like his car's probably a car length and a half wide. He's not doing anything bad, but he's definitely defending his line as leader. He should be able to.
Absolutely. Oh, and Weinberger dropped the left rear into the dirt, under braking for one, and you saw the back end just step out. Somehow, one, he didn't get into Cullen, and two, somehow he saved it.
Oh, yeah, and I'm sure he's back on it now, and he's going to be chasing him down even harder yet.
Oh, man. Well, that's close quarters racing, and again, you got that tucked up behind, and it actually looked like the car stepped out before he dropped that tire, but when that tire hit that grass, especially damp and cold, gone.
Yeah, with the line he was running, he just tried to pull it out right at the last second, probably got a little aggressive with the wheel, and was a little more than the tires could handle.
Cullen, of course, looking in his mirrors going, thank you. I've got a little bit of a breather as they get down now into turn 5. And again, every time we talk about a corner, you could always say, just an amazing corner. The downhill run from one of the fastest sections of track, down into 5, downhill braking, key corner, huge passing zone, up into that spooky turn 6. Amazing.
Oh, definitely. And that's why that's one of the best spectating areas out there, is you really get to see just about top speed, and it's the slowest corner on the track. So you can see who's good under braking, you can see the extra weight of the cars and stuff. It's really a challenge.
That's the number 57 right there, by the way, of Carolyn Queel out of Tucson, Arizona, running the Go For It Racing School's VW Jetta. Not long in the racing game. She started a little bit down the road, if you will, and has already done a few World Challenge races and really is enjoying what's unfolding here. Here is our battle for 4th right now. There's the Cobalt, the number 34 of Kevin Fandozzi. Right behind him is Sage Marie. Behind him again is Phil Parlato. That's 4th, 5th, and 6th overall. And again, Fandozzi and Marie, that Cobalt and the black S2000, are going for, at this point, the bronze medal in the T3 category. The 07 of Gilsinger is down the road just a little bit, but he's been having a very, very solid day. As I say it, there he is. Chad Gilsinger qualified 2nd in class, has had a decent season in the Central Division with a couple of wins, the Alpenstars Recaro car, but obviously he knows this track and he is putting that knowledge to good use and has driven a beautiful race. Currently, the provisional, if you would, gold medalist in the T3 category. And oh boy, now that's what we talked about earlier, as some of the fast cars coming up on some of the slower cars in a different class. And that guy did a great job. It looked like, Bart, he held his line, and then when they started to swarm him, he just stayed to the side and dipped the brake a little bit to let him go through.
Oh, absolutely. It's a little bit challenging with the lefts and right-handers to try to stay out of their way, but he definitely did.
The rule of thumb for that, for the guy that's being overtaken, is they always say, hold your line. Just drive the normal racing line and let us find a way by. But if you're on a section of track where you can, once you're there, just stay out a little bit, you guys certainly appreciate it when you're trying to go around them if they just stay wide, dip the brake, and let you get through clean.
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing better than when you're leading a race and you're coming up on a lap car and he gives you the point by, so you know that he sees you're coming.
And we are on our final lap. So it is Cullen and Weinberger out front, the battle for the gold in the STU category. Chad Gilsinger 3rd overall, the gold for the Touring 3 category. And Weinberger has made up a large chunk of what he lost with that big moment down in turn 1. But the problem is he's running out of time.
Yeah, unfortunately, they are sprint races. so I don't know that he's going to be able to overcome that, but certainly a good drive.
A spectacular drive, to be sure. We'll see what he is able to put together here. Watching up the front straight right now, there comes Gilsinger picking up his last lap. And then here's that other battle we were talking about, Fandozzi, Marie, and Parlato. They have now come by, gotten the indication. You see the starter holding up one finger, 1 lap to go. And Parlato's coming up to take a look, gets down the inside of Sage Marie, but that S2000 a little bit more nimble, deep a little better on the brakes, and is able to hang on to that spot. And again, that is not a battle for a class position. We need to point that out. This is a multi-class race, Parlato in STU, Marie in T3. And for Sage Marie, what he doesn't want, I would think, is to let Parlato in a different class get in between himself and Fandozzi, who is in the same class, and they're going for medals.
Oh, absolutely, and hopefully, they're smart enough not to. You know who's in your class and who's not, and you try not to, if you're not in your own race, goof up theirs.
All right, down into Canada Corner is the report we're getting for our overall leaders as we're watching Parlato and Sage Marie right behind them, picking up a couple of the cars. There's Don Istuk. That white VW would be next in the order. Up the hill we go. The checkered flag is flying, and Cullen is able to hold off Weinberger, but Weinberger, check this out, folks, that last lap, Cullen's lap, a 2:32.5, 2 minutes 32.5 seconds. Weinberger, a 2 minute 30.2, almost 2.5 seconds quicker, and they crossed the line with about 3 car lengths between them. That was a brilliant final lap. And as a matter of fact, it is Weinberger's best lap of the race, and by my reckoning, the fastest lap of the race for anybody at this point. So now we're going to go back and keep an eye on the battle that's unfolding behind everybody else. There is Don Istuk as he goes whistling through in that white VW. Keeping an eye on that other battle. There is Sage Marie, who has made up some ground now on Fandozzi, so this could get interesting yet. Boy, it sure looks dark. When you look at that camera shot, it looks horribly dark, but you turn the camera the other way to the south, it is beautiful. We are really trying to spot here that battle, as we said, between Fandozzi and Marie. Gilsinger now should be making his way up through turn 14 and onto the front straight. And here we go, Fandozzi. There is Sage Marie through 14. The run up the hill one last time. It looks like Fandozzi may have been able to get just enough of a drive up the hill to make it work. Gilsinger comes by. There is Gilsinger, and he picks up the win in Touring 3, a gold medal. And here we go, Fandozzi able to make it by, and Sage Marie still dealing with Phil Parlato, and Marie will pick up the bronze medal, and Phil Parlato picks up the bronze medal in the Super Touring Under, or the STU category. So provisionally we have our first set of medals put together, the Touring 3 division and the Super Touring U, the STU class. And here we go. There is a look right there at the 07 of Chad Gilsinger, who is the gold medal winner in the T3 category. Boy, completing an absolutely marvelous season. As I said, he had a couple of wins in the Central Division, on his way to third in the points championship. Sendiv awfully competitive in the T3 category. But Gilsinger, you know what? Third in the division. If you end up winning the runoffs, it's a good year.
The 2010 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Subway, is brought to you by Mazda, Black Magic Car Care Products, and Gumout.
Forget the rock. Let's roll. Follow your inner driver to the all-new 2011 Mazda 2. It's Zoom Zoom. Concentrated.
Kid, where you been?
Just got back from an SCCA event.
Really?
Yeah, SCCA has more than 2,000 events every year.
Serious?
Go to SCCA.com and find people in your area that drive fast and get their hands dirty. And you don't have to be a supercar to compete.
So I go to SCCA.com, sign up, and I can start competing?
It's that easy.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're hoping that John Bizignano was able to make his way down there. As we've pointed out, folks, we have been having some technical issues. The weather here has been a true challenge, to be sure, and all credit to the SpeedcastTV.com guys who have been working awfully hard to try and beat this weather thing and get these cameras up and working. And John Bizignano, we're hoping to see him down there. I think I see him over there already having a chat with Mr. Cullen. And SCCA is all about gold medal winners, and that means we're heading down to John Bizignano. Biz, welcome.
Well, I'll tell you, it was one heck of a run for you into the second place. First place, you were second most of the time. My gosh, I thought the Audi was going to get away from you, but you just didn't let it happen.
No, I was searching for the dry spots out there, and it wasn't the dry line. And he's all-wheel drive, so I was following around, seeing where I was a little better than him. And when the chance came, I got by him.
But those early laps, I mean, you thought that the Audi would have a better chance, all-wheel drive and everything. Was the front-wheel drive better at the end of the race?
Well, actually, I think something he had a mechanical at the start. So I got away and, quite frankly, got too conservative, and he caught me. And he was going really good then. I was able to keep him within a short putt, and we just had a great race. It was really
well, listen, congratulations on a wonderful drive. You played it beautifully. In comes Bonnie with your medal. And, of course, we're headed over to the T3 winner, Chad. My gosh, Chad, I'll tell you what. You know, you're supposed to be in the slow class out there, buddy. What was it like mixing it up with the big boys? First of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much. We knew from the start that the STU cars were going to be a factor, and I really just tried getting by them as quickly as I could. I didn't want to let Fandoza get too far away. We weren't expecting it to rain like it did. Good thing it started to dry out at the end, or else it would have been a lot tougher, but definitely one of the hardest races I've ever ran.
But, I mean, your competition was nearby, but weren't you a little bit worried about mixing it up with the other class and maybe causing some confidence? You were driving hard against everyone.
Yeah, we were worried about that, but honestly, we talked to a few of them beforehand, and they were all pretty good guys and said that they would, give us some room. They were out here to have fun, too, so it worked out.
Well, Bonnie is coming in with your medal. Congratulations on a great drive. You almost made it look easy.
Well, Biz, he put in a spectacular run, to be sure. And by the way, we talk about the great history of the runoffs and the fact that we were going down for an interview. I think we need to just give some props to the guy that just did that interview down there, John Bizignano. It's his 15th straight runoffs on the broadcast team. So, Biz, congratulations, bud. Well done.
And it's always done a great job.
Oh, yeah. So right now, this is one of those very special moments as the two gold medalists since this was a combined class race. And here comes the first of them. That is Richard Cullen out of Marshfield, Massachusetts, heading out on that lap of honor. That is something very few get to experience. It is an incredibly special moment, and I'm sure he is going to be absolutely enjoying it. Oftentimes you'll get 4 or 5 crew members packed into a car as well, because they are certainly all part and parcel of it. And Bart, you know that, obviously. The unsung heroes in this game. The drivers get out there, they get the interviews, they get the accolades, but it's those crew guys that are putting in those hours and making this kind of stuff happen. And at this level, a lot of them are just friends and volunteers, and boy, they deserve a huge acknowledgement and thanks.